Welcome one, welcome all, and welcome back to the Believe in Iowa State podcast. I'm your host, Tyler Carter.
And I'm your host, Cody Van Seelen.
Cody, the Cyclones were able to bounce back and get a huge victory. And I believe that this definitely deserves some applause. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a complete performance like this from the Cyclones. This is exactly what the doctor ordered for them.
Yeah. This was definitely a much needed boost for Iowa State, obviously. Having come off those two game losing skid, I think it was perfect that one, you're coming back home, and number two, it's the first day of classes for Iowa State. So you got a pretty packed student section. They were rowdy as could be, and it clearly showed. I mean, this is like for the past month, Iowa State hadn't looked like its full self, and it got really highlighted in the losses to Kansas and to Cincinnati. But this one, it felt like we watched the team that walked into Purdue's building and beat them by 20. That's what this looked like. Like, I think this is the first time we've seen them look that good.
No, definitely, man. We're gonna take a look at more of the. We're taking take a look in deeper in depth inside the box score. Which will tell us a whole lot more. Especially with the breakdown. Here's the breakdown right here. I will say, I don't know about you, Cody, but however long that minute that Eric Mulder was in there, he looks pretty good. I feel like he's only gonna be able to get more minutes as the season goes along.
Yeah. I think this was just a situation where TJ just told Eric Mulder, hey, get your ass in there and just play with high energy. And that's exactly what Eric Mulder brought to the team in his like brief time into the game. Had that steal, and I mean, he was just like his length was very helpful on the defensive end, and then getting that steal that which led to transition points for huge for Iowa State. And that's another one of those things that was missing from the Cyclones the last week was those points in transition and off of turnovers.
Definitely. And I really, really like that Blake Buchanan had 19 minutes in the game. And him being able to operate from from the 3 point line and going in is more of his game. As you saw, he got back to basically what he was in non-con, 11 and 6 for him, with sort of 6 crucial rebounds. He looked a whole lot better. And definitely Joshua Jefferson, who we have been criticizing a lot on this pod the last few games, he proved us wrong. He proved us wrong. Had another triple double. He is the first player, I believe, in history to have two triple doubles in one season. So congratulations to Joshua Jefferson with a great game, 17, 10, and 12.
Yeah. I mean, he is the like I think TJ said it best that it started with Joshua's effort on the other end, the defensive end. And you could just tell that Jefferson was much better like on the defensive end. Like he was able to get those rebounds and get guys going in transition, didn't give UCF too many second chance points. And then another thing that really helped Joshua Jefferson bounce back in this game was the offense wasn't running through him like the first couple of possessions. They
Yeah.
they were all going to Milan Momcilovic. Granted, he only got one shot off of those three first few possessions, but you could just tell that was a goal in mind for Iowa State is to maybe make Milan Momcilovic more of the center focal point of the team rather than Joshua Jefferson. Because what Milan does is he spaces the floor out way more for everybody. It's for everybody to be able to operate because obviously defenses have to be ready to defend Milan Momcilovic's shooting ability and that freed up Joshua Jefferson to one drive into the lane, but also be much stronger with the basketball, which is another criticism of Jefferson last week was just him not being as strong with the basketball. And you and I mean clearly having zero turnovers on the day, that just shows you that he was taking care of the basketball. And it also shows that Iowa State was able to move the basketball around and spread it across the floor.
Yeah. I mean, you see, um, just like you said, going through Milan, it really, really puts it into perspective. Because you look at the shots that he's taking, and then what makes it even more impressive, Cody, is that like even like he's shooting at 54.4% from three, and you look at everybody else's percentage, you see a guy that's shooting 56%. There's a guy that's shooting 55%, but they're averaging only 4 shots a game. Milan is doing this with averaging 7 shots a game. And the thing is that he really should be shooting even more than that. Like he went 4 of 8 from three. I mean, the game before he was what 8 of 14 from three.
Hmm. Yeah.
Like this is ridiculous. Like I know we were talking about, hey, maybe he'll call off. I don't think he will. I think this is just something that we should probably come to expect because we're now it is now literally a shock if he doesn't hit a 3 pointer.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's we talk like people like there's always a talk of Milan regressing to the mean, which would be like 40%, 40% or something like that. And speaking of that, Milan Martinovic could miss his next 47 threes and he'd still be above 40%. And he could miss his next 11 threes and be up above 50%. Now, please do not do that. I do not wish that upon Milan Momcilovic. I want you to keep shooting
Right.
the way you are. But that shows just the high level of his shooting ability. And with the volume, yeah, I think it might be more impressive that yeah, with all that volume that he's shooting at, that he's still having this higher percent, like this high percentage shooting from the perimeter. And I think, I mean, the Cincy game that was out of a need, that was a desperation kind of thing. But this felt like this felt very like more like comfort, like it was very more like in rhythm. It wasn't like out of desperation because you were trying to get back in the game. You were just piling on and you were just building more confidence and building confidence. I think that can be something that's for like we can talk about killing Torre. I think he's got his confidence back after about a week of having that freshman wall.
Yeah, I mean, everybody is getting into form at the right time, man. I'm really, really excited. This is the time, especially still near this work, since we're about to get into the meat of the schedule, um, with Torrey getting it together. And another guy that we need to talk about, man, is Jamarian Bateman. Jamarian Bateman is starting to emerge as a guy uh, that you can count on offensively, getting 12 points off the bench.
Mhm. Yeah, and I was talking about this with a few of my friends that we were at the game, and I think we were all talking about he could potentially have like those some of those like he could have like if he develops a more consistent shot. We were thinking we could see him as like like a heat check three chuck of three kind of guy, like a Curtis Jones as a
Oh
very
yeah,
recent example.
definitely.
Yeah, we were talking like if he develops more, he could be a really nice piece for us, uh, just down the line.
For sure, man. I mean, I really, really like that. And another thing that we got to talk about is just with the development of Killian Torrey and Jamarian Bateman. It's able to take points away from Tim and Lipsy, who played 30 minutes. I think it's very, very crucial to keep Taman as fresh as possible before the
Yeah.
tournament starts because you don't want him to play 35 to 40 minutes every single night and then him
Mhm.
be like have nothing left by the time the tournament comes. So
Yeah.
I think being able to get 24 points from both your guards, where Taman sort of like was struggling last night, like I think it's really, really good to see. And then we also got to talk about Dominicus Plata. Dominicus Plata had a much better game last night, with pitching in 12 minutes, 8 points, 3 or 4 from the field. Him having an efficient game is just going to help with more of the bigs later on in the season when he possibly is going to be counted on to maybe make some baskets either in
Yeah.
the conference tournament or in the NCAA tournament.
For sure. Yeah. It kinda I kinda had to take a second and laugh at, like, us saying that this kind of night was a very, like, a disappointing night. Offensively, yes, but Tamin Lipsey just he just put up he stuffed the stat sheet. I mean, 5 points, only off 2 9 shooting, but he also got 5 rebounds, 6 assists, and 5 steals. So we're back to seeing
Right.
Tamin Lipsey get that 5-finger discount, so I don't know if I would call that a bad night for Tamin Lipsey, but
Well,
it
yeah, I
was
probably will say I'll say offensively, but as a whole, he played great because he was a bulldog on the defense.
yeah. And then with Dominicus Plata, I think something I do like me want to see is like Dominicus Plata tends to get the ball taken from him, and that's just kind of the nature of being a taller guy when you bring the
Yeah,
ball down. So that's I think something that is gonna be something I look forward to seeing develop and him reducing and cutting. Because that's like a backup center. That's probably one of the things you want to do, like not do is like turn the ball over.
Yes.
Get that fixed, and then I think we're in a really good spot. But yeah, I think this was a much needed game. Obviously, get some momentum confidence back and have this before you head to Stillwater on Saturday when you take on Oklahoma State.
Yeah, and now that game looms large. I mean, Oklahoma State basically up until 2 minutes left to go was leading that game up by 7 with 2 minutes left, and they ended up losing by by a basket. So they're gonna be pretty upset. Or that's usually something that usually breaks the will of teams is after having a lead and then you give it up. That's very disheartening.
Yeah, I mean that might play well in the Iowa State because you don't know, like Oklahoma State, you don't know how they're gonna be feeling. They might be hanging on
Hmm.
that a little bit, and as a result, that can give you an opportunity to take advantage of that. But I mean, looking at the game, the last time Iowa State played Oklahoma State, I think Victorious Miller didn't play against the Cyclones, and then he plays in this game, plays against
Yes.
TCU, and he only had 5 points, with three rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 fouls. So, and then he had 9 against Kansas State, and then 14 against Baylor. If we're hey, listen, by this trend, he may score 2 points. I'm just saying.
He might, but by that trend, you definitely could be right. I just know because we saw one of the guys we talked about last week in the Cincinnati game that he could possibly go off. He went off, and I just know we know that whole entire trope. That trope has been true thus far. Um, we'll see what happens. I already know they're going to be hungry, especially with a top 10 Iowa State team coming into town, and last Saturday playing well enough to probably win in Hilton, but Iowa State was able to pull away. Um, but this one is going to be a one that Iowa State needs to have so they can continue the good momentum on the road. Um,
Yeah,
Now, to really, really put this into perspective, we're going to go back to Milan real quick. We are it really there is really more advanced analytics from Evan Maya, and it really puts it into perspective, giving their grades on his season performance so far.
mhm,
All right,
yeah,
so this is basically his overall grade right now as a player. Overall. So basically, for the most part, but obviously besides rebounding and like core impacts, because he does have a core impacts. But like you look at his overall rating, which is in the 99th percentile. Offense is in the 99th percentile. His defense is in the 99th percentile. His scoring volume is in the 90th percentile, and then his playmaking is in the 99th percentile. So it really, really does like Evan Meyer really, really does justice, and it really shows you how well Milan Momcilovic has been playing, and really shows you the giant step he's taken this offseason to become the player he is now.
yeah. This was, I think, the step that a lot of Iowa State fans they wanted to see out of Milan Momcilovic. This was the step that they wanted to see, the development of him. But I mean, I don't know if anybody would have had Milan Momcilovic shooting 54% from three. Uh, Today's date is January 21st. So I don't know if anybody had that in their bingo card, but if you somehow did, you better get a lottery ticket.
Yeah, get a lottery ticket, and I'm gonna be asking you for money.
I don't. No, 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 no. We might need to put that into the NIL. We need to put that to the NIL fund.
Facts, yes, yes, yes.
Yep.
We need everybody to. We need both these programs to stay competitive.
Yep.
So yes, we need that.
Yep. And then back on the impact of Milan Matinovic, in the press conference last night, T. Elsberger said that outside of an uncontested layup or dunk, there's no better shot for our team than Milan Momcilovic shooting the three ball.
He's absolutely right. Like
Yeah.
it's insane
Mhm.
that I'm just like I'm speechless. I don't even know what to say.
Yeah, and then just another thing, it's been great is the fact that Milo Momcilovic has developed that Matt Thomas pump fake sidestep dribble into his shot. That's been another thing that's been beautiful because now I think teams might need to start now with those long closeouts because if you try to long close out Milan, he's just gonna just sidestep pump fake you, dribble, and still hit the shot.
And I honestly don't know if people realize how hard that is to do, especially at his size. Like
Yep.
somebody that big being able to do that, he does that every single time and gives himself more space. And then he can just, he even like, we saw it on Saturday where he just pulls up from almost the logo and drains it. I'm like, my goodness, this is fun to watch. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. He's fun. Like, and obviously, I don't know. Is he and then back to the conversation more with Evan. I'm seeing the graph from Evan, and it talks about college basketball player value. And I see a couple of Iowa State guys. Mila Momcilovic is in the same kind of category as LeBaron Philon or Richie Saunders.
yeah, he's that type of shooter this year. Like, so that's why I think when we go up to Provo, that's going to be a great duel between Richie Saunders
Yeah.
and Milan Momcilovic.
And then back to a couple other guys in the big three. Joshua Jefferson's basically on an island on his own. There's and then Tatum Lipsy is with Caleb Wilson and JT Toppin.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Joshua Jefferson's like what he means to this team, like being able to basically have the potential to put up a triple double every single night,
Hmm.
and being at his best when he operates from the 3 point line and be able to go in and
Yeah.
drive in.
Yeah.
I think this is like the type of offense that we want to see.
Hmm.
Ideally, like Joshua Jefferson operates best when he's coming in from the 3 point line in and not having to be the ball dominant, a guy that has the ball in his hands.
Yeah. And then, yeah, it's not just the offense. I think defensively, I think I would say it got back to what its identity is built on, which is relentless pressure, turn you over, get points in transition. And that's exactly what they did. The turnover margin, the turnover differential being 19 for UCF and then 5 for Iowa State. That's what you want to see out of Iowa State night in and night
Hmm.
out is turning opponents over and getting those points in transition.
Yeah, definitely. All right. We are going to take a step back from basketball because we do have some football news that we're going to share with you. Obviously, we every like the basically the a few days ago, the roster was finalized, and also basically it is now officially a new era in Cyclone football. So we're going to take a look at what Jimmy Rogers had to say with his new team coming in. So we're going to share my sharing, and we're going to take a look at that. Like, after hearing that, man, I want to run through a wall. Like,
That's
I know we're in the middle of basketball season, but I love football.
That's basically what everybody's saying, and I mean, that's not the only thing that, came out of the football team, and you passed right by it. The 2026 schedule has been announced. The Big 12 had announced the, football schedules for all 16 teams, and I think I'll just give a quick summary of the schedule. Uh, Already mentioned, September 5th will be the home opener against SEMO, Southeast Missouri. The 12th of September will be at Iowa for the Cy game. Iowa State looking to win 3 straight against the Hawkeyes. You have you come back home on the 19th to take on Bowling Green, and then you open conference play at home against the Utah Utes, who I presume is going to be a top 15 team coming into the year. Then on the 3rd of October, you have West Virginia coming in, a bit of a backyard brawl. So second year, Rich Rodriguez. So I'm very curious to see how that's going to look. And then you hit the road for the first time in a month as you head to Provo to take on the BYU Cougars on the 10th. Then you get a bye week right in the middle of the season. That's about as perfect as I would like it. And then you come back, you head down to Tucson to take on Arizona. Then on Halloween, the 31st of October, you come back home and you play against Oklahoma State. That's going to be interesting to see how two of the most roster depleted teams, the two of the newest rosters in college football, go up head to head against each other. And then as the calendar hits November, you head to Baylor on the 7th, at home versus Cincinnati, head to Orlando, take on Central Florida on the 21st, and then you end the season on rivalry week against Kansas State and Farmageddon at home.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the coaching matchups here. Like Farmageddon, we're really now in a new era of Farmageddon as two first year head coaches go off against each other. Jimmy Rogers versus Colin Klein. That is going to be cinema. I cannot wait for that matchup. Um, Obviously, we're going to have payback on our minds on the 14th against Cincinnati. Baylor is always an interesting matchup. Who knows if Dave Aranda is going to be there by the time we go to Waco.
Hmm.
Oklahoma State, I mean, basically they brought everybody from North Texas over, so that's going to be a fun matchup on Halloween. Uh, BYU is definitely an interesting matchup. Wondering if that one's going to be Provo at night. That one will be an interesting matchup. Utah is a very interesting matchup as our conference opener. That especially they're going to be wanting revenge after 2 years ago when we won 31-28. And then obviously, we have the Hawkeyes at Kinnick, a place that we've won. Was it 3 out of the last 4 times? And it would be nice to go and beat Iowa again at Iowa to continue our streak at Kinnick.
For sure. Yeah, I think overall this sets up pretty decently for uh this new team, like the new team. And early on, I looked at, I mean, you got to highlight obviously at Iowa as the measuring stick for where you are. Utah is another great measuring stick because that tells you right from the get go where you are conference wise. The trip out to Provo is going to be fun. The trip to Tucson will be fun. The 31st, yeah, when you have two whole new rosters built for those two respective teams, that's very exciting to see what direction those two could be going in the future. And then heading to Orlando, that should be fun. That might be a fun one. I think a lot of cycle fans are going to make the trip down to Orlando to watch that game.
Yeah. Oh, and especially before we have to come back to the cold against K-State. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of Cardinal and Gold down in Orlando. Basically, gonna be
Hmm.
like a bowl game. I think there's going to be a lot of people at Tucson too. I'll be going down to Tucson for the
Mm.
Arizona game. But yeah, what I do like is that a lot of your big games are, I mean, obviously with the exception of BYU, are at home. And the home road split, I think you got like seven home games and five. One, two, three, yeah,
Yep.
7 home games.
Yep.
So being able to at least maybe go at least like maybe 6-1 or 5-2 in those games, and
Hmm.
then win at least two. You see 2 or 3. You can see this as a schedule where Iowa State could go 7-5 or 8-4, and that'd be like ideal as a first year head coach with Jimmy Rogers.
Hmm. And then I mean, a month ago, I don't think anyone was like, there was no idea how the team was going to look a month ago. But now you got what I think is kind of like just a. I think I said this. The defense with the prowess that they have has the ability to win one or two games off of their backs.
Yes,
And then there are some toss-ups I see. Since Oklahoma State's a toss-up, Cincinnati can be a toss-up depending on how Scott Satterfield looks, assuming that like he's there still, because obviously he lost Brandon Sorsby to Texas Tech. So that one's going to be intriguing to see how Cincinnati looks. Utah is the measuring stick, obviously in conference. So I like that test for Iowa State.
yes.
Then yeah, overall, I see a lot of like this conference slate. I see a good amount of highlights that can happen, and just I think every single one of these games, except for maybe at BYU, and then against Utah, is winnable.
Yeah, I think the 10 out of these 12 games are toss ups. It's really going to be interesting to see at least what we learn about these teams, probably on come Big 12 Media Day.
Yep.
And obviously, like you said, Cody, we said we'd know more about this roster. And here, actually, I do like how all of this has been um laid out. This
Hmm.
is so organized. It goes by position by position. So basically, now you'll be able to know all the names. So we're going to go through that right now, as I share screen. So we're going to go basically position by position, and take a look at the position coaches, and as well as uh the people, the players, and the position coaches. So these are all the specialists. We have junior, We have Caleb Schmidt as a junior. We have Gavin Sheeler, redshirt freshman Jacob Lifgut, Chase Smith, Ethan Gurney, Kyle Conradi, and Adlai Lounsbury, who is from Ada, Iowa, who was a guy who was at who was going to be the punter. Um, as
Really?
or no, Ethan Gurney, who was from Australia as a punter, and Adlai Lounsbury is the extra kicker, who what came from Washington State, who was from Ada, Iowa.
We're just gonna completely disregard the fact we got a punter out of Cedar Rapids, Jonah DuPont.
Oh yeah,
Oh man, yeah, we got some. Yeah, Eastern Iowa. I mean, we continue to just have like I don't know. Jonah DuPont's gonna see much action, but I just had to kind of had to note that.
right.
And then immediately after that, you get the quarterbacks, and the quarterback room is gonna be probably the talk of a lot of Iowa State fans for at least a while. Because looking at this quarterback room, I think there's a clear number one that everybody's going to see, and that's going to be Jalen Rayner, the transfer quarterback out of Arkansas State. You also have Connor Mobley, the redshirt sophomore out of Altoona, Iowa. So he's staying. So I'm curious to see he might be the QB2. Zane Flores, transfer from Oklahoma State, redshirt sophomore, and then Wyatt Bohm, redshirt junior, is also in the room. So I think it's probably not too much of a question that Jalen Rayner looks to be the starter, but I think there's going to still be some competition there with Connor Mobley
Yeah,
in the room.
I do like this quarterback room. Zane Flores as like a depth piece. I like that. So obviously because he got thrown into the fire mainly because of injuries. So I think being able to sit behind Rainer and Moberly, Flores will be able to develop correctly and won't have to see the field.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next we go to the cornerbacks. Here is the cornerback room. We have Keon Washington, Seth Johnson, the corner from Montana State. We have Benny Ngoyi, Jaheim Singletary, David Coffey, Trajan Sorrell from Washington State, Tyrone Cotton, retro freshman from Washington State, Torrance Sanders, Angelo Jackson, and Eddie Lamas.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Just the secondary room. I think the secondary room is probably going to be like a place where obviously you're going to have like so much like a turnover. This defense as a whole. Oh, I'm just excited to watch this defense. I think this could be one of the best units in the country.
I agree. I agree, man. This is going to be a top 10. Like I said, I think top 10, top 20 unit. I can't wait to watch Marcus Banks coach these boys. All
Mm-hmm.
right, we're going to go down and continue. This is the wide receiver room by Coach Sherman. We had Carter Pabst, the sophomore from Washington State. We have Evan Boyd, the pickup redshirt junior from Michigan State. We have Omari Hayes, the guy from the transfer portal from Tulane. We have Dom Overby returning. Cody Jackson, a very explosive guy in the room that I'm really excited to watch from Tarleton State. He's there. Carson Robbins, a returnee from Altoona. We have Malcolm Watkins, freshman from Bakersfield. Trevor Fortenberry, Tyler Fortenberry's brother, the tight end, Sam Zelenovich. We have Ray Coffey and Ty Claiborne. So that is your wide receiver room. And I did see that we did get another commit today from TCU. We do got some more commits, so obviously this will be updated as we go. But this wide receiver room is definitely a wild card. Obviously last year this was one of our strongest positions, but now should be interesting to see how this wide receiver room comes along.
Mm-hmm.
All right, now we're going to go down to the safety room by Pete Minich. We have Braden Alls, who I am man. These first three players, dude, I am so excited to watch. Braden Alls, who was one of the top safeties in the nation, as well as in the MAC. Braden Alls, who had 9 interceptions in 2 years, will be the starter. Micah Harper, another great guy from out of Montana, we got, and then Drew Surges, out of Batavia, out by my neck of the woods. Had a great season last year, as he comes into the fold, as well as rounding out Connor Welsh, Red Star sophomore, Deron Goodman, Demarius Russell, Brody Miller, Caden Matson, the guy who had the blocked punt for a touchdown in the Baylor game a few years ago, and Wyatt Archer to round out the safety room.
Mhm. Yeah, it's another Braden out. Yeah, it's I think Braden Allen is going to definitely be the number one to look towards. I can also see Brody Miller doing some damage.
Yeah, very very excited. I'm sort of wondering if they're going to either have a spring scrimmage or a spring game. This would be like the ideal year to do it. All right, and then we are now at the running backs room. So we have Cameron Petway, the running back from Bowling Green. We have Jaden Jackson, a redshirt freshman returnee. Saladin Allah. We have Aiden Flora returning. We have River Peppers, Easton Miller, and AJ Peterson. This race for the running back room is also going to be interesting. Wondering who's gonna win this race.
I
But
for me, I look at this like running back room. Like this is definitely the I'd say the weak point of the roster. It didn't
yeah,
feel like it felt like there wasn't as much like action going on with the running back room. But obviously, Cameron Petaway has like that breakaway speed, which I think
yes.
with a really which I think with a really good offensive line and good blocking tight ends, he could get out in the space.
And like honestly, we were sort of robbed of River Peppers since he tore his Achilles the first time we ran the ball in Boulder last year. Very excited to see what he has, and obviously Aiden Flora. Aiden Flora is a speedster. Saw what he can do in the KU game last and in November. So very excited to see what they can do. And it's gonna be a fun competition in this running back room. I'm very excited to see. And then we have Coach Bobbitt, the linebackers. This linebacker room is going to be very, very explosive. We have Sullivan Slimgen, the guy that took over for Anthony Topolino at Washington State. He comes over with Coach Rogers. Um, and then Tristan Exlin, the linebacker from University of Texas. I Bleav that is UTPB. Carson Willick comes back. Willie Breland, junior JUCO guy, comes in. Ethan Stecker, a guy that comes in. Montrez Smith, Bo Goodwin, Landon Cosmic, and Ryland Barnes. So you do have some experience in that room. I do think Bo Goodwin will do well in this scheme
Mhm. Yeah, I think this is a scheme that fits perfectly for him to thrive.
for sure.
And Sullivan, like Slimgen, that name itself just sounds like a linebacker. It almost sounds like you're
It
saying
really does.
Slim Jim. It almost just sounds like if you say it slightly differently, it sounds like you're saying Slim Jim.
Snap into a Slimkin.
But yeah, it's just much. No, the pro wrestling Slim Jim ads. You remember those? That's what I could just think of. I just imagine him tackling somebody and like he snaps them, and then all you hear is just snap him like Slim Jim. Yep.
I love it.
Mm-hmm. Let's see.
Okay, let's see what else we got. Oh, the tight end room. Yes. Tight end by Coach Hessness. We have Cash Hayden, the redshirt sophomore from Cincinnati, 6'8", 245. Like, you look at the size of this room, dude. Like, the shortest guy in there is Keaton Roskam, who is probably going to be the ace back slash fullback position. Man, you see Cash Hayden 6'6", Tyler Fortenberry 6'5", Vince Benetti 6'4", Ben Hallmark 6'3", Jack Bjorn 6'7", Luke Gaylor 6'6", Drew Bird 6'5", Keaton Roskam 6'3", Jordan Vivorni 6'5", and Christian Greenlaw at 6'5". There is so much size in this room. I gotta think that probably Fortenberry is probably going to be the starter. But it looks like a room that has a lot of size. We'll see if it has depth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we talk about size. The defensive line it's refreshing. Look, just
Oh,
the
it's
amount of
beautiful.
size, the amount of meat on this pause, but the amount of meat just on this defensive line, it is beautiful to look at.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I can't wait to see Jalen Bibbs' defensive line. We have Zymir Hawk, 6'3", 305. Trey Verdon is on the small at 6'1", 250. Jack Limbaugh, a guy that a redshirt freshman, who was able to who were able to stay. Kamori Moore, who also stayed behind. We have Jace Gilbert, 6'5", 280. Isaac Terrell, who was one of the more productive guys, who I Bleav had 7 sacks on that Washington State defense.
Hmm.
Donovan Fitzmaurice. You have Jared Ramos, Blake Hawkins, a guy that we got from Iowa Western who was very productive. You have Caden Crawford, another good pickup. Jack Janikowski, Jake Jones, Chet Andrews, Richard Senior, who came over from Washington State. Max Baloun, who came from Washington State. Malachi Tayase, who came from Washington State, who was a beast on the D line, and Bryson Lamb. So, man, this defensive line is going to be insane, dude.
I expect this to be a defensive line that is much more aggressive, like that fills up gaps and gets to the quarterback. That's what I want to see out of this. Like that was one thing I've been missing. It's just there's just a satisfaction of watching a defensive line get to the quarterback. I don't know what it
And we
is.
haven't had, yeah, man, and we haven't had a pass like rush like this in years, dude.
Hmm.
So very, very excited to see how this D line turns out. Ooh, oh, okay. Oh, all right. And then this is our offensive line, um, led by Coach Jake Thornton. We got some dogs in here too. We have Masai King, the pickup from Akron, 6'4", 310. Cade Meyer, 6'2", 305. Trevor Bendel who was a redshirt freshman. Alan Amick, I Bleav the tackle. He was a tackle from Montana. Braden
Hmm.
Simonton, 6'3", 275. Braden Smith, a great pickup from Tarleton State. We have Garrett Rutledge, 6'7", bro. 6'7", 315. My goodness, he is a monster of a man. You
Cuts.
have Derek Warden, 6'5", 270. He'll be able to grow into his body. Makai Sat, 6'2", 345. That's a big boy right there. You got Dontrell Holt, man, 6'5", 315. Evan Proudfoot, 7 300. Gabriel Greenlee, 6'7", 305. Austin Barrett, 6'3", 20. Gavin Brocious, the portal pickup from Michigan State, 6'4", 308. Caden Moss, 6'5", 305. DeAndre Carter, the pickup from Auburn, 6'4", 345. And Jake Taylor rounding it out with at 6'6", 313. So just like the emphasis on the size of both lines really, really has me excited, Cody.
Hmm. Just meat. It's
Meat.
just look, you go to a deli or like you go to your local grocery store, you head to the meat section. That's exactly what this is. There are going to be so many steaks fed. I'm glad that Iowa's an agriculture as a state that focuses on agriculture. Dear God, I don't know if there are going to be enough cows in the state that feeds this this offensive line unit and that defensive line unit.
Yes, man. So obviously, since we're talking about football, Cody, why don't you share your screen and let's look at the Big 12 scheduling matrix for football.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Big 12 did come out with their the full scheduling matrix, and there are some notable matchups that I think were included in this. In the non-con, you have Arizona State heading to College Station, take on Texas A&M.
Okay,
That yeah, that should be fun. UCF is gonna be heading to Pittsburgh to take on Pitt. Then you obviously have the uh the the second game of two games for Colorado against Georgia Tech. Look at Kansas. You got the border war. Wait, no, yeah, they got it. Yeah, against Missouri. That'll be in Lawrence. TCU in week 0 heads out to Dublin for the Ireland game against North Carolina. Utah has to head down to Fayetteville to take on the Razorbacks of Arkansas.
interesting.
Yep. And then West Virginia playing Virginia in Charlotte.
Ooh, that's an interesting matchup.
Yep. So overall, yeah, that's the kind of the overall the non-con I think are probably the most interesting. And then you have a bunch of then you have all of the conference matchups, and it includes Arizona State heading to Lubbock to take on Texas Tech in week 7.
And Texas Tech is looking for revenge in that game since that was their lone loss in the regular season.
Yeah.
In Tempe.
I completely forgot about this. BYU hosts Notre Dame in week 7.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
And
The
that's
Catholics versus the Mormons. I cannot wait for that game, dude.
who would have thought you had two different branches of Christianity going at each other, but here we are.
I love it. I love it.
I don't know. And then let's see, just take a look. Hope we can find some other matchups. I'm trying to find when the Holy War is.
Oh,
I see it. Yeah, right here, week 10. Week 10 is the
perfect.
Holy War. Let's see if we can find. Yeah, Duel in the Desert is rivalry week, and then you got Revivalry week 7. I'm trying to think who else has a big who's got a big rivalry. I can't say there's too much, but yeah, I mean Iowa State. Yep, got that. You got the Riot Bowl, trip to Provo, Armageddon, and then
Is there a butt bowl this year?
let's see. Yes, there is a butt bowl.
Yes, in week 13. I can't wait.
No, week 12.
Week 12. Okay.
Yeah, week 12 is the butt bowl between Baylor and Texas Tech,
back, baby.
And then you got the Sunflower State Showdown in week 7.
Is Kansas ever going to win this game again? Probably not.
This one is in Manhattan this year.
Oh, man.
I don't envy it. That's going to be the longest. That's going to be the story is, will Kansas ever beat Kansas State in football in my lifetime? Well, they probably have, but it's been a very long time. It's been 18 years?
Yes. Well, no, if they win, it'll be 18 years. It's been 17 years.
Oh, jeez.
It's absolutely insane that they haven't won in a teenager's entire lifetime. That is absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, there are kids who are probably born Jayhawk fans that have never experienced beating Kansas State in football.
They've been so close, but so far. All right. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Bleav in Iowa State podcast. But few things before we go. A big thank you to FanDuel. Make sure you put your bets in for Championship Sunday. And also congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers. So if Indiana had a 100-1 odds to win the national championship. So if you put those odds in, congratulations. Also, if you want to find us on Twitter, find me, Tyler, on Twitter at SciTyGuy. You can find Cody on Twitter at Tierney's Brenner. Hit him up if you need to. Also, if you want to find us on social media, follow us on there. We can be found at Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Bleav in ISU. We can be found on Twitch at Bleav in ISU 2025. All right, that is the conclusion of today's show. For Tyler Carter
and for Cody Vancillo,
this is the Bleav in Iowa State podcast. Roll clones, baby.